Welcome to the COVID Diaries interviews, funded by the New Hampshire Humanities Collaborative and the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation. Mercedes Mannarino interviews Troy Nikander.
All right, let's get into it. So, right away, what I want to know, and part of the reason I want to know is because I am taking suggestions, is what's been keeping you sane lately? What's tethering you to this earth right now?
Oh boy. Uh, Getting to the difficult questions already. Um, hmm. I mean, for a while, the answer was Animal Crossing on the Switch.
You know, I never actually played it. I meant to, but I would have had to buy a Switch, and it was a whole process. But continue.
Um, yeah, no, like the this newest installment focuses a lot on there's actually in-game tools to design your own island rather than just like generic nature town.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so getting to have like something that I have control over, um, because I have control over pretty much nothing else right now.
I mean, very,
Um,
very few of us do.
yeah, so getting to have that has been nice. All of my friends that did play it have since like long stopped, so it's just me still going. Um, there really has not been much else. Like I just, you know, go to work, drive home, and then just sit.
Now, speaking of work, I know that you were working in the library, and if I do correct me if I'm wrong, if I recall correctly, that operation was temporarily shut down.
Yeah, so we closed down. I want to say it was the third week of March, around there, like maybe March
Okay,
14th, 15th.
that sounds about right.
Because I remember I celebrated my 24th birthday with friends on March 13th, which was a Saturday, and then the next day, or it was either a Friday or Saturday, and then the next day we locked down. Um, and at that point, we made the decision to close the library and we returned to in person on June 1st.
And now, I did the nature of the work. Well, I suppose not necessarily the nature of work. Did the nature of people coming to the library and people working in the library, did that fundamentally change at all when you open back up? And I don't necessarily mean in terms of a capacity limit in the building or things like that. I mean, people still checking out books. I mean, what function is the library serving currently?
I mean, the library where I work, because it is a small town, has always been a community center.
Yeah.
We host, both major political parties. We host live music and, local artists. Sign up for displays that are done every month. Um, and that much hasn't changed really. Obviously, we can't do live music. It's just not safe, but it hasn't changed all that much. We obviously have fewer people in the building, but um, staff is still going, and we're also offering curbside service.
Mm-hmm.
So you request a book, we once we have it, we just check it out to you and package it up, and people come pick them up whenever. So a lot of people have made the decision to just not even come in because they don't need to.
And have you noticed if this is the kind of thing that you can notice? Have there been any like trends recently in the kinds of materials that people are reserving from the library. I'm thinking in terms of, at least digitally, there seems to have been this boom of learning new weird skills. Um, what people are checking out, do you think that reflects that?
Well, as far as digital checkouts, I don't have those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for a while, because everything was shut down, we couldn't order any new physical books. So
Oh.
we were a few months behind. I think maybe only in the fall we started to catch up on our orders. Because, my supervisor and the assistant director do most of the ordering outside of the children's room. And we do have a wide library of online titles, but the patrons that have been coming in, or I see curbside checkouts, I've been at the job 2 years, so I know our regulars pretty well,
Yeah.
and they continue to check out, the same things. People who like, the military thrillers keep checking out those. If you like romance novels, people keep checking out those. Um, yeah, I think, especially, I don't know, I'm by no means an expert, but what I've noticed with, um, I've worked in libraries since I graduated college,
Mm-hmm.
and I've noticed that you kind of have to meet people where they are. We have a very diverse collection. We have books, by authors like Ibram X. Kendi.
Mm-hmm.
We have, I forget the author, but we have the book White Fragility that I've
Oh,
seen circulate.
yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue, but it's no matter.
Yeah,
Look over.
so you want to talk about race. The list goes
Mhm.
on. But, we put these books in front of patrons, and then it's their decision whether they want to check it out or not. And the books do go out.
So while we're on the subject of authors, you've been fairly busy in the past few months. You've written a number of poems, you've published. So I've got a couple of questions on that. And the first is, did quarantine, how did that influence your creative process? Was it a positive one? Was it a negative one? Did you find yourself getting more done?
Boy, quarantine was very weird for me because I did end up publishing my research on the fake Civil War soldier Otto Schaefer, and outside of poetry, which I'll get to, I also did write a biography in quarantine. But I had been planning to do that for a while. I had been researching it for about 2 years before I started writing. Um, and that went from April to August. So at that point, everything that I had been planning on doing had gotten done.
Mm-hmm.
Because I find that generally with prose, it's a little less emotional for me. I can kind of just like hammer out words and power through it. But poetry has been very difficult, and I don't know if that's just because of the pandemic. I think it's a lot of things. I think it's the subject matter that I've been writing about, and it is a very personal, very emotional craft. But also the other side of it, which I don't know if you've ever felt like. One of my favorite poets currently is Jericho Brown, and he won the Pulitzer last year.
Hmm.
And sometimes when you read authors like him who are so talented, you know, sometimes I ask myself like how do you live up to that? I can't write poetry like him because I have not lived his life. Um, so I've really been asking myself like how do I make good poetry that comes from me. And I don't know if I really did that, but I did write, at least.
Because at the end of the day, like what is poetry? Poetry is a form of entertainment. And I think that, you know, if you've entertained someone, which you obviously have, your work has been published, you have already succeeded.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. And honestly, I don't know if you even need to justify it, especially when it comes to writing poetry, because, you know, for a lot of poets, myself included, it's kind of what you turn to write about when you don't have any other way of saying it. But that also means that, you know, to borrow from Wuthering Heights, you know, you're turning over things like at the bedrock of you as a person, and that's not very comfortable or fun. Um, you know, like I've definitely like cried working on poems or thinking about them because it's really hard.
We're having such radically different experiences of quarantine. Some people have stayed home this entire time. Like you and I have been working. Some people have been dealing with incredibly difficult things, and some people have been buoyed by wealth. So I don't think it's a fair thing to say like we're all in this together. I don't think we are.
No, I think some people
are.
are definitely in this like by themselves because they have wealth. Um, you know, and I am even a little reticent to talk about like if I'm talking with, you know, my friends online, or you know, I don't really use social media as a participant, but you know, talking about my experiences working with the public during this pandemic, because you know, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a grocery store worker, like I'm not getting yelled at by people who refuse to put on masks every single day. You know, I'm at risk, but not at risk as other people are. Um, so I've kind of been, I'm not sure where I was going with this, but um, you know, it's like, well, I'm at risk at work, and then I'm stuck at home otherwise. Like, you know, I'm in that space everyone's in where it's like, well, what is there to do?
Special thanks to the Community College System of New Hampshire. Faculty mentors Krista Zoba, Sally Bachelani, Kara Shenoy, and Paula Delbonis Platt, along with Dawn DeAngelis of New Hampshire Public Television, PBS, the University of New Hampshire, the Humanities Project at the University of New Hampshire, and its co-directors, Krista Law Jackman and Molly Campbell. Leslie Barber at the Community College System of New Hampshire, audio editor, William Forrest Platt. Copyright, New Hampshire Humanities Collaborative and CCSNH 2021.